Turning now to breaking news out of the Middle East, where Israel says it has hit Houthi targets across Yemen with airstrikes. Iran describes the attack by Israel against Yemen as a violation of peace and security. Meanwhile, Palestinian officials say overnight 5 journalists were killed in a strike on a press van in Gaza. But Israel says it struck militants posing as journalists. NBC's Raf Sanchez is live from Jerusalem with more. Raf, what do we know about these strikes in Yemen?
So, Christina, in just the last couple of minutes, the Israeli military confirming that it was responsible for these strikes. Not the first time the Israelis have attacked the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, but this appears to be on a much wider scale than the strikes we've seen before. The IDF is saying they hit the main airport in Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. They're saying that they hit 2 power stations, as well as what they're calling military infrastructure at 3 different ports along Yemen's western coastline. Now, they are saying all of this was being used by the Houthis for military purposes, that they were points of entry for Iranian weapons being smuggled in. But we will see what kind of impact this has on the civilian population in what is the poorest Arab country in the Middle East, a country that has been going through a decade-long rolling humanitarian crisis. The Houthis have been in the sights of both Israel and the United States for nearly a year, more than a year now, but especially in the last couple of weeks, the Houthis firing a series of ballistic missiles. 2 of them last week broke through Israel's sophisticated air defenses and hit in the Tel Aviv area. Nobody was killed, but this was pretty alarming for Israel, especially given that they have really diminished the capabilities of Iran's other proxy groups, Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, to say nothing of the Assad regime collapsing. So we have seen both Israel and the United States striking against the Houthis in the last couple of weeks very intensively. The Houthis so far seem undeterred, undefiant, continuing to fire these missiles and these drones. You mentioned, Christina, the ceasefire negotiations, which are still continuing in Qatar. There was a senior Israeli delegation there led by the head of the Mossad spy agency. That delegation has now returned to Israel for consultations with the political leadership, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And we will see whether this is just a temporary stall in these ceasefire negotiations or it is something more serious. Both Israel and Hamas publicly accusing the other side of making last-minute demands, which are slowing down this process. And at this point, it is looking very, very unlikely that we are going to get to any kind of deal before the end of the year, which is the hope that the Biden administration had expressed. Christina.
All right, Raf Sanchez, thank you so much.